Hello and welcome to what's going to be another Yu-Gi-Oh video. We haven't done one of these for a while because I haven't really been into Yu-Gi-Oh all that much as far as the actual card game went, mainly because of the link rules. Not a big fan, but with the announcement of some new stuff coming in with the new ruling stuff that was announced very recently, I thought why not dive back right into it and start off with the latest structure deck that has been released up to this point. I do plan on getting the next one as well. This is Rokket Revolt. I actually bought two of these so I can mash them together. I was tempted to go for three but decided to start off with just the two, so we will just open the one of these since they are identical, and I'll open the other one of course off camera when we go into that. But starting off with this one, of course, getting into it, we'll just open it, see what actually comes in these days. It's been a few months since I've opened anything of similar. So of course the standard beginner's guide and information packet, and the cards, which I forgot were hidden behind a stupid little tear thing again, as always. So this deck, compared to the last deck I actually opened, has a nice few link monsters in them, which is something I actually don't have any of. I have 0 link monsters, as, like I said, I haven't been playing since probably pre-Pendulum, technically, as far as being any kind of competitive goes. So we'll get this thing open here. It's a pig, 'cause it doesn't look like they got the standard tear thing in the middle anymore. They used to have those a while back, which was really nice. So let's get this undone. Alright, there we go. Get all that packaging off so you can take a nice look at this. Then you just get the standard Duel Links advertisement. They like to put those in these things these days, I guess. And some potential other advertisements here, stuff for the Legacy of the Duelist. Interesting. Haven't seen anything like that from Yu-Gi-Oh before, but it's always quite good. So starting this off here, we have Zero Boris. Interesting Cyberse monster. We're not really going to go over the effects too much, mainly just checking out the deck overall. Seems like it should be a bit of fun, being Link 4, 2 effect monsters. It's not too hard to pull off, I don't think, overall. Then we have Borreload, which is actually one of the more interesting ones, I think, overall, as a fusion monster. Could present some interesting combinations for the future for me when building a deck like this. Then we've got Borreload Dragon, interesting one. A Link 2. Rokket Dragon. When a Link monster effect is activated that targets this face up on the field, quick effect, he can destroy this card. Okay, pretty straightforward. Rokket Tracer. Tuna monster. Interesting. Nice that we get some tuna monsters. It does mean that synchros are a potential for this deck, which is actually pretty cool, as I haven't done much with synchros for quite a while as far as actual cards go, so that's always a nice addition. Then we've got Absorber Outer Dragon? Well, we'll go with that. Absorber Out? Yeah, we'll go with it. That'll have to do. If you control the Rokket monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can special summon once per turn this way. Interesting. Not actually half bad. Not too hard to pull off either. 0 Day Blaster. Okay, not a bad one. Nice artwork. I do always love Yu-Gi-Oh's artwork. It's a pity they don't do more full style art. That would always be nice. Route 1 Dark Link monster and target 1 card on the field, equal to its link rating. Interesting. Rokket Recharger. Another pretty straightforward effect monster that we're getting. Explode Rokket Dragon. Okay. Checksum Dragon. It's an alright looking one. Mostly these are going to, of course, be dragons, which is a fairly common theme here. So, Auto Rokket Dragon, Magna Rokket Dragon, Shell Rokket Dragon. Yeah, see, just like I said, since it is a Rokket Dragon deck, since it is basically all it is, that's quite cool. So, Metal Rokket Dragon, Rokket Synchron, Gateway Dragon. Interesting. If your opponent controls a Link monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon Gateway Dragon once per turn this way. So mostly focusing on getting these things out really easy, which is not always a bad thing at all. So Defrag, pretty straightforward. You can special summon this card from your hand by sending one other monster from your hand to the graveyard. You can only special summon once. Again, another easy way to special summon stuff out. Background Dragon. Background Dragon, that's a pretty great name. He just gets to sit in the background and watch everyone else have fun. If this card's in your graveyard and you control no cards, you can special summon both this card and one level 4 lower dragon type monster from your hand in defense position. But banish this card when it leaves the field. It can only be used the effect of background dragon once per turn. Again, great special summon support. This deck actually seems like it'd be really quite good for a beginner to pick up, which is always nice. And having link monsters gives you into that gateway of getting used to link summoning. Of course, with again we'll call it Master Rule kind of 4.5-ish. The addition. Some people are labeling that Master Rule 5. It does change the link summoning mechanics. So XZs and fusions and synchros and all that pretty much don't require it anymore. Only pendulum and links actually require the restrictions, so that's not so bad at all. So we've got a normal monster. It's also a tuner, so that's an interesting one. That's actually an interesting card. I don't see many normal tuner monsters a lot of the time when I'm playing Yu-Gi-Oh! They're not usually very popularly used, I guess. Paladin of Felgrand. That looks like an okay card. This card is normal summon or special summon. Equip one level 7 or 8 level 8 dragon monster from your hand or deck to this card. This card is unaffected by other monster effects. While equipped with an equip card, you contribute one monster and this card. Then target one level 7 or 8 monster in your graveyard and special summon it. Interesting. So you could use that pretty well with this deck, being able to pull dragons onto it. Dragon Knight of Creation. Increase this card's level by 4 during your opponent's turn. Only when this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, send it to the graveyard. You can send one level 7 or 8 dragon type monster from your deck to the graveyard. That sounds like it should be okay. Keeper of the Shrine. It can be treated as 2 tributes for the tribute summon of a dragon monster. When this card is in your hand or graveyard, if a face-up dragon monster in the field except Keeper of the Shrine is sent to the graveyard by card effect, or because it was destroyed by battle, you can special summon this card. Then if the monster that... Alright, so looking at it, okay, it's pretty straightforward. You can only use the effect Keeper Shrine once per turn. Similar to the Blue Eye Summon mechanic, that's what we used to use it as. World Chalice Guard Dragon. Huh, that's actually a really cute artwork. Bit different to most of the artwork in this set, which was more awesome, I guess. This one's just pretty straightforward, which is cool. Don't mind that art at all. Radiant Hand of Light Swan. So actually get one Light Swan in this deck, or at least one version of the Light Swan in this deck. During your main phase, you can send the top 2 cards of your deck to the graveyard, and if any Light Swan monsters were sent to the graveyard by its effect, this card gains 200 attack till the end of your turn. You can only use the effect of Radiant Hand of Light Swan once per turn. Once per turn, during your end phase, send the top 2 cards of your deck to the graveyard. Straightforward. Borrel Supplier. So now we get into these spells. So this is where things can get a bit more interesting in Yu-Gi-Oh! Especially, of course. During each standby phase, if you control a Borrel link monster, you can target one Rokket monster in your graveyard and special summon it, but destroy it during your end phase. You can only use the effect of a Borrel Supplier once per turn. So that's not bad being a continuous. Rapid Trigger. It's obviously a quick play spell. Fusion summon one fusion monster from your extra deck by destroying fusion materials listed on it from your field. But it can only attack monsters special summoned from the extra deck. Also, it is unaffected by the activation effects of any other monster special summon from the extra deck. You can only activate one rapid trigger per turn. So this card, this could be really interesting in the future, especially with XCs and stuff, pumping out more monsters with the new rule changes. Even with this deck alone, this card could easily protect potential fusions, which could be really fun. Especially since it doesn't actually specify that it has to be anything in particular. As long as it's a fusion, and you're destroying the fusion materials listed on it from the field, you can trigger that, which is awesome. A good way to create a protected card, that's for sure. Squib Draw. Target one Rokket monster you control, destroy it, and if you do, draw 2 cards. You can only activate one Squib Draw per turn. Basically Pot of Greed, but with, of course, the tribute restriction, so you -1 to +1 basically. Quick Launch, special summon one Rokket monster from your deck, but it cannot attack or destroy it during the end phase. Also destroyed in the end phase, sorry. Quick Launch, that sounds fun. Easy way to get more monsters from your deck. Definitely something I would consider using in this deck quite often, since it's a pretty solid card. Boot Sector Launcher, or Launch, sorry. All Rokket monsters on the field gain 300 attack and defense. You can activate one of these effects, special summon up to 2 Rokket monsters with different names from your hand. If an opponent's if opponent controls more monsters than you do, special summon a Rokket monster. Alright, that sounds pretty straightforward for the most part. Obviously, I'm not going over the entire effects for most of this video. If you want to check out the entire effects for this, I'm sure you can find them quite easily. Activate this card by targeting one Rokket monster in your graveyard, special summon and equip it to this card, but banish it when this card leaves the field. If this card is sent to the graveyard because the equipped monster is destroyed, you can draw one card. You can only use each effect of Borreload Dragon once per turn. So Dragon Shrine, this looks like a bit different normal card. Send one dragon monster from your deck to the graveyard. Then if that monster is in your graveyard is a dragon normal type monster, you can send one or more dragon monsters from your deck to the graveyard. You can only activate one Dragon Shrine per turn. Very simple, very straightforward. Ruins of the Divine Dragon Lords. Alright, not really going to go over that, that's quite long. Return of the Dragon Lords. Target one level 7 or 8 dragon monster in your graveyard, special summon it. If a dragon monsters you control would be destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. Awesome. Straight up polymerization. I love seeing classic polymerization. Always one of my favorites. Twin Twister, pretty straightforward. Discard one card. Target up 2 spell traps on the field, destroy them. That's actually not too bad at all for a single discard. Execute Protocol, pretty straightforward traps. Red Reboot, interesting, so should be pretty decent overall. So that's not bad. Then we have our Link Turret. When this card is activated, place 4 counters on this card. Each time you take battle damage, place 1 counter on this card. During your main phase 2, you can remove 1 counter from this card. Then target one Rokket monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but its effects are negated. Also, it is banished when it leaves the field. You cannot special summon monsters from your extra deck except Dark Link monsters the turn you activate this effect, even if this card leaves the field. So another way to support links, getting them out easier, that's always a good thing. Mirror Force Launcher. Okay, Mirror Force Launcher. I haven't actually seen Mirror Force Launcher before, so this is going to be interesting. Once per turn during your main phase, you can discard 1 monster and 1 Mirror Force from your deck or graveyard to your hand. If this set card is destroyed by your opponent's card effect and sent to your graveyard, you can set this card from your graveyard and 1 Mirror Force from your hand, deck, or graveyard. Then they can be activated this turn. So interesting. So you get Mirror Force and Mirror Force Launcher, which is really cool for this deck actually, along with Magic Cylinder, which is another classic trap card. You can't really go wrong with Mirror Force and Magic Cylinder as classic traps. Don't know if they're the best cards these days, but they're still pretty cool. Then we've got Imperial Order. So negate all spell effects on the field once per turn. During your standby phase, you must pay 700. This is not optional, or this card is destroyed. Imperial Order, actually not half bad. Although it is a requirement, so you have to pay the 700 if you can. So we get Borreload Dragon, just a normal Link monster by the looks of it from this. That's actually pretty cool looking. I have to go over the Link monsters a bit more, as I want to get used to them, as I mentioned. Triple Burst Dragons. This one's actually an okay one too. +2 monsters except tokens. Once per turn during your damage step, when a spell or trap card or monster effect is activated, quick effect, you can negate the activation. So pretty decent negating activation. And Boost Dragon. Huh. You get a lot of nice Link monsters in this, and that's really cool. So I really like that. So looking over everything here, the Link monsters alone, which are pretty awesome, do provide this deck with a lot of extra support, which is good. And you get the, of course, 1 fusion. Otherwise, you're sticking mostly to all your normal cards, which are pretty, again, straightforward. Otherwise, there isn't a lot else crazy in this deck. I've got to play with the deck to actually work out how well it is and how good it is, but looking online a bit before I bought these, they seem like they're pretty decent. Also, when I bought them, they weren't very expensive, only 15 Australian dollars, which is pretty cheap overall for a structure deck, so buying a couple of them wasn't too dear. I would recommend getting 3 if you're looking to jump right into Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now. Although if you want to hold out, wait for the next one in roughly, I think it's February, is going to be a Shaddoll structure deck, and I do plan on doing a video of that because I do think the Shaddoll structure deck will be pretty insane and a pretty awesome deck to cover. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, hit the like button and subscribe. You can find anything else in the description below related to me and my channel. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Till next time, see ya.